In this tutorial, we're going to demonstrate how to start using the terminal or iTerm to work with our MySQL database. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is if you're working in the labs, you're going to want to go to, or in the classroom, you're going to want to go to Spotlight up here, and you want to type in iTerm. And this is going to bring up your little command line editor so we can start working with MySQL. If you later on, when you're not in the lab or not in the classroom and you don't have iTerm on your computer at home, you can go to the terminal, which comes installed on all Macs, and you'll get the same screen. But I'm going to go ahead and use iTerm for this tutorial because that's what you'll be using in the college. For the people who have PCs, we'll talk about in class a similar sort of application that works on the PC side, so you can do some MySQL development while you're at home working from your PC. So let me go ahead and get back in iTerm. So I'm going to bring that back up. Okay, so when iTerm first pops up, now I might get a few different things that kind of scroll through here while I'm working from home that may not happen at the lab, so just be aware. But follow the main steps. Feel free to take notes for yourself so you don't have to rewatch this tutorial, so you can get the steps down. So I'll kind of work through those steps right now. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do when you get this iTerm up and you have this screen, you need to type in SSH, and that's the actual type of connection that you're going to make to the remote server, and I'll talk about this in class. Kind of draw a diagram on the board that explains this. So you're going to type SSH, and then what you're going to type is your password, username and password that you use to log into computers in Gaylord College. So it should be your 4x4 and then whatever password you typically use. Now I can't demonstrate that because I don't have a 4x4. But so as I start typing, this is where you would put your 4x4. So I'm going to type in what my username is for Gaylord. So yours would be your 4x4 right there. So it'd be SSH, your 4x4, and then you're going to put the @ symbol. And the server we're connecting to is gaylordcms.ou.edu. So again, you'll see SSH, then you'll put your 4x4. I don't have a 4x4, I have my different first initial, and then @ symbol, and then the server name. Once you do that, you just type enter, and it's going to prompt you for your password. So again, this is your password that you use to log into computers in Gaylord College. So I'm going to go ahead and type mine in. You won't be able to see it, so you just need to make sure that you're typing it correctly. So I type mine in, and it looks like I'm in Gaylord CMS, and that's what that's telling you right there. So I'm actually connected to the server now. Now the very next step that you need to do after you've connected to the server, and again I'll draw a diagram of this on the board so you kind of understand what's happening here. Once you connected to the server, you need to launch MySQL. And what you do is you type MySQL, and that's kind of telling the server that that's the application that you'd like to run. And then you type -u. In fact, let me try to blow this up here. Let's see if I can get this font bigger for you all. So that's kind of bigger. Okay, so once you get into the Gaylord server, you type in MySQL, and that's the application you're running. You type -u, and that's your username. Now, in this location, the usernames for MySQL I created for you this morning. And what I did to create these, they are your 4x4 and your student ID number. So your username is your 4x4. So I'm going to use Billups here. So I'm going to type in BILL6682. So that's his 4x4. So of course you would put your own 4x4 in. Then I'll put -p. Now I don't type the password here because if I type it, the password would be in the open. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit return now. And now it's asking me for my password. So for you all and for Billups here, it's going to be the student ID number. Now you won't be able to see it, so you need to make sure you type it accurately. So I'll type in the student ID number, and then I'll hit return. Okay, and now I'm in MySQL. Okay, so that is the login process. I'm going to go ahead and exit out. Well, let me show you real quick. Okay, so once you log in, each one of you all has a unique login, and that unique login for MySQL is connected to your own database. And if you recall from our talk in class that you have a database, and then you have a bunch of tables inside the database. So you all have one database that's that you can see and you can work with. So just a quick command just to show you that situation before I log out and log in as myself into MySQL. I would go ahead and do show databases, and you should do this as well with me, and you'll see you'll have this information schema and you'll never use that, but then you see that there's Billups database. So the next step is go to use Billups. So you type in use your own database and then hit return, and then the database is changed. So at this point I'm going to go ahead and log myself out and log back in as myself instead of Billups. So I'm going to go ahead and exit, and by the way, this is how you get out of MySQL. You type exit, and now I've exited out of MySQL, but I'm still connected to the server. You'll see me later in this tutorial exit completely from the server and MySQL, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to relaunch MySQL as myself. I'm going to go ahead and log that. So I'm MySQL. So now you see I'm what they call the root user now. So I have full administrator privileges. So if I do show databases, I can see everyone's databases. I can see everyone who's new. I can see past students' database that are in there. So what I want to do now, I'm going to use Billups. So I'm going to go use Billups. Now it's saying I'm going to use his database. So you all should do that to your own. So you should be using your own database at this point. And now I'm just going to give you a series of commands. So the first thing that I want you to do is show you how to do, I showed you how to do show databases and use databases. And remember, you should keep a little record of these little SQL commands separate for yourself. So I'm going to type in show table. Oops. Yeah, show tables. And you see that it says there are no tables. So in the next tutorial, we're going to talk about creating tables and then sort of working with those tables, that CRUD situation that I told you about the other day in class. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out and wrap up this tutorial. So to exit out of MySQL, I type in exit semicolon, and then I want to do exit again to exit completely out of the server. And so now I've disconnected from the server, and I can go ahead and quit terminal. And I have learned how to log in and log out of MySQL. And so this concludes the tutorial.